classmate is mad I'm forcing her to eat ethnic food? Go eat a loaf of bread. This happened about a year ago now when I was in high school. My calculus class was very chill. About 20 kids who were all friendly with each other, a laid-back but enthusiastic teacher, and a light enough workload that we could afford to goof off in class but still learn and do well. At some point in the year, I got really into cooking. It's my stress reliever. My family couldn't possibly eat the amount of food I was made, so I started bringing it into school and hosting Friday parties in my calc class, with my teacher's approval of course. Now, I'm Vietnamese and I live in a predominantly white town. This is only important because it meant that most kids from town only ate American or European foods, and weren't used to eating other ethnic foods. Last year around Lunar New Year, I wanted to bring in some Vietnamese foods to celebrate. It is a very important time of year for my family. I ended up making a bunch of bánh đa len, a steamed layer cake and a traditional Vietnamese dessert. Some of my friends from class found out I was going to bring in a traditional dish and brought in their own traditional dishes from their own cultures, whether they celebrated Lunar New Year or not. We had different Indian, Korean, Filipino, and Spanish desserts. It was great and I was really excited that my friends wanted to celebrate with me. Apparently, this was an issue for one girl in my class. I would say bánh đa len is an acquired taste, so when not a lot of people ate it I wasn't offended. I knew not everybody would like it. There was a lot of other food anyways. During our lunch period, one of my friends, who wasn't in our class but knew I brought food in, overheard a girl from my class complaining about the food while on the lunch line. Apparently, she was saying really negative things about how I forced everyone to eat weird Chinese foods. Later that day I texted her just saying I heard she didn't like the food and wanted to know why. I don't really care when people don't like the food. I make it for myself and bring it in when I have extra anyways, but her calling it weird Chinese foods, when she knows I'm Vietnamese, didn't sit right with me. Welp, she texted back that it was rude of me to bring in weird ethnic foods that nobody would have liked except for me and said I should know better since most of the class was white. I told her that I bring in food to share because I feel like it and that I don't have an obligation to cater to her tastes. If she has an issue with it, she literally does not have to eat it. And other people can bring in food too, so if she wanted to she could bring in something more to her tastes. After that she just told me that I shouldn't bring in ethnic and foreign foods and stick with American foods, because we're in America. Excuse me? Like? How much you wanna bet if I brought in jambalaya, which originated in Louisiana, she would call it a weird foreign food? Fine. She only wants to eat American foods? Then she can eat American foods. The next week I brought in a bunch of oliebol, a Dutch donut, and started passing them out at the beginning of class. When I got to her desk I pulled out a loaf of Wonder Bread and plopped it on her desk, saying sorry but these are Dutch, too ethnic. Here you go, all American cuisine. Later she texted me asking WTF my problem was, so I told her that almost every single food I brought in this year was ethnic and that it pissed me off she only had an issue when it wasn't European. She's entitled to not liking Asian foods, but if you're going to complain about it being ethnic, then you better have that same attitude when the ethnic food is white, and especially don't call another person's culture weird. She didn't complain about the food again. Also, before anyone comments, white bread isn't the only American cuisine out there. Here's a short list of what I've enjoyed making: tater tots, jambalaya, fried chicken, many types of pies, s'mores, and Philly cheesesteaks. America is a very diverse place, and that's reflected in its food. Happy eating! Edit. Thank you all for the awards and the love in the comments. I really didn't expect any of it. Don't worry, I'll cook for you all someday.
Now to the comments. When I was a kid in the Boy Scouts, we had a troop member of Indian heritage and another of Korean heritage in my patrol. We had a council-wide campout where cooking was the theme for competitions between the troops. We asked Kiri and Eddie to fix some foods from their cultures. I don't remember if we won that part of the competition, it's been over 35 years ago, but I do remember that the food was tasty and was a break from our usual recipes. We welcomed the different cultural foods and had them cook their family recipes on other campouts also.
OP replied. I love when people share cultural foods. In my area the only time we can get authentic foods are when they're homemade.
We have a cultural fair here every September. Lots of exotic and not so exotic foods for people to try, cultural dances, and music. We have sizable Syrian and Indian communities, as well as many other Asian and European nationalities that contribute. I grew up in a town so white that the local, national chain, supermarket puts pasta on the ethnic aisle.
Oh yeah? Well, I grew up in a town so racist they put the white rice and brown rice in separate grocery stores.
My town was so racist, white sugar and brown sugar were kept in separate aisles. I like how she felt entitled enough to declare herself spokeswoman for the entire white population. Most of my favorite foods are Asian and I'd jump at the chance to taste some real home-cooked dishes. What a boring person.
I absolutely love getting a chance to try the original versions of different cultures' dishes instead of Americanized versions you find in most restaurants. I may not like them all, but it's nice to get to try new things and some of them are amazing.
At my old job we occasionally did potlucks. We had a ton of international people working there, so the potlucks were full of all sorts of ethnic dishes. So good. Come on, bring her some proper English food. Like steak and kidney pie, ox tongue, and veal sweetbreads, which is neither sweet, nor bread.
OP replied. OMG, imagine if I just slapped some raw sweetbread on her desk.
Reminds me of when Mr. Bean orders steak tartare thinking he was ordering a steak. However, I think that's a French dish. She needs to learn the history of American cuisine. Quite a lot of it is actually ethnic. Now excuse me while I go enjoy my lasagna. Winky.
I think there shouldn't be Taco Tuesdays for her, lol.
Make her eat Taco Bell while everyone else eats street tacos and pupusas. No. You get the ground stuff with lettuce confetti. Yes, that beef over there was cooked low and slow and tastes like what every cow dreams her little baby will grow up to be someday. None for you. Eat your orange cheese goo on dried triangles and like it? Sounds like Classmate is a right oliebollen. Loved what you did with the oliebollen. As a native Dutch woman, oliebol equals singular, also used as a weird for someone being thick, doing stupid. Oliebollen equals plural. Keep your cooking up. Another Dutch food hit, try stroopwafels.
And if you want to up the insult, try pannenkoeken, a bit like pancakes, but slightly different and also used as a similar insult as oliebol.
Die kawi paneko ek ha ha ha, pannenkoek as an insult always reminds me of that. I would have loved that in high school. I was pushing 30 before I moved somewhere with even halfway authentic Vietnamese food to try. Basic white girl gets basic white bread, sounds appropriate to me.
I wonder why. Most kids from town only ate American or European foods, and weren't used to eating other ethnic foods. I could understand if she lived in a non-diverse place, you eat what your options are, but if she has Korean, Latin, Filipino, Vietnamese classmates, it's likely she has those businesses. I live in an area that has tons of those ethnicities. I wonder if she actually lives in my region, and pretty much everyone I know here eats those foods, especially the white people pho, Korean barbecue, Korean fusion tacos, banh mi, chicken adobo, pollo a la brasa, pupusas. Edit, I was thinking about this a little. I'm a bit older, so it was like 20 plus years ago that I was in middle school. We were very diverse back then. I went to a high school with like 7K kids and we had people from everywhere. I mean, like you are Mongolian. There's going to be a bunch of Mongolians. You are Moldovan? Probably someone around here is Moldovan, or if you get homesick, you can hang with the Romanians, etc. My point is the diversity isn't new. But yet, back in middle school, while we were not completely ignorant, we weren't so into it. I didn't have Thai food till I was in my late teens. I didn't have pho till I was like 15. I didn't know what lomo saltado was, and the idea of Ethiopian food was repulsive till my 20s. Sure, we might eat whatever our friend's mom from Afghanistan or India or the Philippines cooked, but we wanted pizza and McDonald's. But kids these days seem different. Go out with my friend's family to eat at a Thai place, and his little white daughter, 7 to 8 years old, is correcting him, "Daddy, I don't want tom yum goong, that's shrimp. I want tom yum gai. The chicken." You know that's silly. It's not just the whites either. My Korean friend's little daughter loves Afghan kebabs but gets upset if they order a place that is more Persian style. My black friends and colleagues actually go out with us to get some Korean oxtail soup or sushi. 20 years ago, they would have mocked me in my face. Foods that seemed foreign just one generation ago has become part of our everyday diet, a staple now. Going to go eat Peruvian chicken or sushi or butter chicken is done in the same way as if we were to go out for pasta or burgers. I've also had the enjoyment to see this globally. Korean fried chicken in Dubai and Bangladesh. Pho is everywhere now in Ukraine, even in burger joints or room service in old Soviet rundown hotels. Korean bingsu, shaved ice, in Laos and Frankfurt. Turkish ice cream and doner kebab in Seoul. It'll be too easy to point at South Asian cuisine in the UK. Dang, I'm hungry.
You know, I am bicultural, and I was shocked when I realized that a lot of my peers, for some reason, they'll typically only ever eat their own culture's food. Most of them weren't mixed like me. I guess since I had two different influences, I wound up trying like countless cultures' foods. It was just common to me, so when I heard some of them say crazy stuff like, "Oh, I'm never had a slushy / taco / fries / sushi," I took it upon myself to show them a new world. But I definitely agree that part struck me as very odd, since it's simultaneously a diverse and not diverse class.